The ego donkey comes to the boundary point but cannot move on to the spiritual, let's say the greener pastures. It's not designed for that. Therefore, you cannot carry the ego, in this case the ego donkey, over that boundary. But you don't have to kill the donkey either, do you? That are saying, thank you, it's been very helpful. You've helped me survive all these years. Maybe I'll go to my meditation class because of you. I twisted myself, I bent myself, I survived because of you. But you, ego, cannot come into this world. I don't criticize this process, but understand it's a limitation, it's a boundary. The ego is a resource, but it's limited. You following? Yeah. What am I carrying over if it feels like more spiritual process, but I'm holding all the stuff back? The baggage. The things that are, well, past. That's why it's called past, no? It's not past if you don't put a point. So we talk a lot about this comma and point difference. Many of us, we put periods when there should be a comma. For example, this should be a point. It's finished now. And start something else. Comma, comma. I want to be spiritual, but I hold the psychological. I want to surrender, and I do once in a while, but why would you want to drag all that stuff over into the so-called spiritual? By the way, the research suggests something very interesting. About 50 to 60% of people who meditate, I think a study of over 20,000 people, they found were only doing psychological work in meditation. So as much as you want to deny all the psychological, if we don't deal with it at some level, which doesn't mean always work it through, by the way, but you can't avoid those issues. One way or the other, they need a point. And then you're free to continue. So you might ask if you wanted to for yourself, in an inquiry we would do that, no? It's maybe not the point here, but okay, who is holding this? Who suffers? And who needs to suffer still? And if this person didn't suffer, what would he or she have to face? And there you see what the real problem is. The problem we have in life is never the problem. It's always beyond the problem. The problem is the excuse. It's the break. It's the thing we use not to face the white hole. Don't believe me, try it for yourself. You get a problem and ask yourself very deeply, what's beyond this problem? If I didn't have this problem, what would I have to face? And there you see what the real issue is. Once you face that, the problem goes like this. If you could, research it for yourself. We're used to focusing on problems because that's part of our training. We can then try to solve a problem. If you don't make a problem the focus of your life, which, by the way, is connected with this selfish I. The selfish I needs a problem. It's built on a problem, identifies with the problem. In the best case, tries to solve the problem, which, as we know in the world, often creates another problem. Voila, constantly busy. Never at peace, looking for peace, fighting for peace, fighting against cancer, fighting against AIDS, all the time fighting, struggling to solve the problem, to stay in the problem, the field of problem. A problem in Greek, probaline means to look at. We're back to the hotel and the home, no? Consider our hotel world we've created with each other is asking us could you please look at all this once and for all? Could you understand what war is?